We had more than 4,000 interviews and more than 200 focus groups that we openly discussed how to deal with the past crime. And we gave some options to the people. Of course, the selection of the people to interview was very, very random. It was not really organized or planned to see only the educated one or to only see this ethnic group or that ethnic group. Accidentally, we had an interview with Dalmai Tufan, which is one of the famous persons, a very powerful person in Kabul. And he was also interviewed by our colleagues. So what we did, we analyzed this action plan. Of course, some of our friends within the international community, including the International Center for Transitional Justice, really helped us. Human Rights Watch was not directly involved, but they were really supporting us on that issue. And we came up with a report to call for justice. And this is the recommendation of the people in Afghanistan, not the opinion of the commissioners within the commission. In that one, 69% of the people said that they are directly or indirectly were the victims of violation of human rights. 87% of the people said if we do not tackle the issue of justice and accountability of the past crimes, the people will turn to revenge and we will be again in a war. 76% believe that dealing with war crimes and the crimes in the past will help the peace and stability in the country. A lot of people said that we have to have a few issues, that we have to document the past crimes in order to have a history, and it will be education. It can be used for education for the future generation in Afghanistan. They should not really commit such a crimes which was happened in the past. And also, a lot of people recommended that if we take some symbolic act, like building a monument, building a museum or park or something, this can reduce the pain of the victims of the human rights violations. So with that report, when we, I come back to how the UN was dealing with us on this issue of transitional justice. They told me directly that they are not going to support me on transitional justice because they are not going to exchange stability with justice. So all these issues, and I said that, can you please don't block it? I'll take responsibility and I will do it. And also on the other issues of human rights in the country, I remember that one of the, I'm not going to name it, but one of the high-level person from the UN, UNAMA, came to my office and told me that, Sima, we should not touch the issues which are very sensitive to the Afghan culture and Afghan tradition. Imagine what? He said, you should not talk about forced marriages and child marriages. And I said, thank you very much. Be sure that I'm not going to talk about those things because the women are not human beings in this country. So this is the kind of political support that we were receiving from the international community. Based on this call for justice, the Human Rights Commission, the government, the international community, and the UN, we tried to work and make this action plan, which was said very nicely by ISO. I think there's no doubt that it is not a perfect document, but it took almost more than a year when we were pushing and pushing in order to convince the government to accept the plan. I think she did mention that we did not really pay much attention on victims, but in our view, in my view, one of the people involved on that, making that action plan, acknowledging the suffering of the people is part of reparation also. Unless we acknowledge the suffering of the because we are not going to do anything on reparation or any kind of support to the victims. First of all, there is no lack of acknowledgement by our government and also by the international community for the suffering of the people in Afghanistan. And this is sad part. Whenever you ignore something, you don't acknowledge, then you are not doing anything. So if you don't acknowledge the whole issue, why you should deal with the transitional justice in Afghanistan? Anyway, it took a long time in order to convince the president to accept this and announce it. This action plan was made for 3 years, 2006, 2007, and 2008. The reason that we were insisting to put a date or timetable for action plan is to push the government. It doesn't mean that when the 3 years is finished, then we should not tackle it. Nowhere in the document this one said. Again, I repeat that. I'm not saying this is a perfect document. It does have some weaknesses because we didn't have experience. And usually, I mean, you do something in order to find out where is the weaknesses and where is the strength. So that is the issue on the action plan. And unfortunately, we were able to convince the president in order to pass this. And imagine that everybody in the cabinet was shouting against this whole issue. When the action plan was given, the final action plan document was given to the president, of course it is diluted 10 times. When it was given to him and he invited all the leaders, the jihadi leaders, to discuss the issue. In a minute when he said that it's a transitional justice, they jumped. Sima Samar is not Muslim and all these, she's acting against Islam. So the whole document, and my fight with or argument with the president is, why are you involving these people? What is their role? What is their legitimate role? Are they member of the cabinet? Are they member of parliament? What? They were not member of the parliament when they approved it or passed the action plan. So we forced the president until he was in December 2006. And 10th of December, he acknowledged, he mentioned that the 10th of December, a memorial day of the victims of violation of human rights. And then, of course, that is part of the action plan, which is this advisory panel for senior appointments. It was announced in September 2006, but they were not giving them office or possibility to work. So at least their name was passed approved by the president. And it's only 1.5 years that they were functioning. So there were a lot of problems because it was kind of a competition between the two different people within the president's office, that which one wanted to control and be the boss of this panel. So that took 1.5 years in order to give him an office. Again, I'm not going to the detail because we discussed it now. So what's happening? Why do we still have those people in the government? One of the reasons I think when the international community came, because they knew them before in Pakistan or in Iran. They came with their support, with their friendship with them in Afghanistan. They could not ignore their friends. So they gave their friends a position in the government, and also the one who did not have a position in the government, somehow they were still involved and they were the one who were getting money, and they were the one who was respected by different powerful people from the Western countries. I can say that few of the defense ministers was flying from Washington or flying from Europe, going to see Dostoevsky in the north and seeing Ismail Khan in the south, and then coming and seeing Karzai.